Backstage, the show where we sit down with local artists and international artists and find out what's going on in their lives and in their careers. On Channel 82, where Bermuda shines through. I'm Mr. Magic, and welcome to Backstage. Rita Marley, Marcia Griffith, Judy Mowat were all members of the I3s. And these are women that went on to individual careers and really made something on themselves in a male-dominated industry. My guest today is fighting those same struggles as one of the top female reggae artists here in the island of Bermuda. I want you to welcome to Backstage Miss Ashanti Caesar, a.k.a. Princess Black. Hi.
Hi, thank you, Mr. Magic.
Nice to see you. Well, nice to see you as well. Thank you for being here. Now, my intro, people know these names, the I3s, Bob Marley's backup singers. And then these ladies went on and became, like, they just blew up in the world of reggae. And we know in that particular genre, the males are the ones that are out there and just really turn things up. How was your struggle and how was your journey within the genre of reggae as a female artist?
It definitely has been a difficult one. Initially, I was on my own and I was living in Europe doing my thing. And there was definitely that perception, even though it may not have been outright said, but it was definitely you have to give something to get something. And I've definitely, just not my area. But you always feel there's pressure as a woman that you definitely have to give of yourself in order to make it further. So I guess that might explain why it seems like we're not going further, because a lot of women are just standing up to it and saying no. A little bit later on in my career, I married an artist as well, so it did get a bit easier because he was always there to make sure that I was making connections with good people.
And you weren't getting used and taken advantage of in that situation.
So with him, we did travel quite a bit through Europe, and yeah, it was great.
So you basically made your name in Europe first.
I did.
Okay,
yes.
And it got easier going forward.
It did.
You know, having, and again, I mean, not being chauvinist or anything, but you had a male at the forefront of you, so he basically opened those doors for you.
He did, exactly.
You know, I mean, the struggle was when you actually came back home. That's when the doors really started closing on you.
Exactly, once again. But, you know, for different reasons, in all fairness, I have to say for different reasons. You know, as a woman, you know, when I did start a family with my husband, my priorities had to shift because women are seen as, you know, those type, you know, you have to stay and you have to raise the children and you're the nurturer and things like that. But also, it was never made easy. It's difficult to get your music on the radio as a female artist, whereas a male artist would, you know, go to the same radio station and have his music play. So yeah, there are struggles, but like I said, I want to say in all fairness, there are a lot of variables that did change, which have made it more of a struggle for a woman as opposed to a male.
As opposed to a male, yeah. Okay, now one thing I have noticed since knowing you, the first time I've said this before, it bears repeating. The very first time I heard your voice, I swore down, I got goosebumps, and it was the purest sound I had ever heard. And this was a cappella without music, and I gotta say, having that advantage, did it make it easier going forward when people first like, okay, here comes a female artist, and then all of a sudden you opened your mouth and sang, and the jaws dropped in like, wow, did that sound come out of you?
Definitely, and I really saw that in Europe, because I did live in continental Europe, so not so much the UK, so there was also the language barrier. And so when I came, you know, saying I'm an English singer, you know, at first people weren't interested, but when they heard my voice, you know, things changed. I was singing hooks for French artists and things like that, so. Yeah,
are you bilingual, or this was just the...
I speak French and German and English.
Okay, good talk. That's it for me. That's all my German. Which I actually should be kind of embarrassed about because my mother was married to a German. He read German papers. I picked up a few things here and there. But, okay, so in traveling in Europe and making that name for yourself, were you Princess Black at the time?
I was, yeah.
You were? Okay. How did that name come about?
Actually, it kind of started in Bermuda because on the streets people always call me Princess or Pretty Black or whatever, so it kind of meshed together, and over time people just started calling me Princess Black. Sizzler had that song out, a remix with, was it Eddie Fitzroy?
Yeah, Eddie Fitzroy, yeah.
And yeah, so from then people always used to call me that. So I just kind of carried,
gravitated to it and took it and became yours.
Exactly.
Okay.
Like the lyrics, like actually I feel the lyrics, like definitely. So.
Okay. All right. So as a mother, okay, and you're balancing your career, your work, your family, and your music.
Yeah.
Which one takes the back seat the most?
Well, it's definitely my music has taken the back seat because my husband and I are no longer together, so I'm a single mother now. I'm still trying to do the music thing. It's good because I have made somewhat of a name for myself. If people do need a singer for an event, for weddings, I've done things like that, I do sing. It's taken a backseat, but I always like to say it's temporary because right now my focus is on writing, so now I'm writing lyrics. So that when I do get into the studio, I'll be that much further. So I'm still working on it, but I'm not out as much. So people always ask me on the street, when are you going to come back out again? It's definitely in the works.
Okay, so how is your album doing?
It's sold out. There are no more copies in Bermuda. I actually have to restock. I have to restock. It's sold out. It did so well.
That is fantastic.
It did very, very well, and that was great.
Okay, and the album is called The Way of Life.
Yes.
And you have your songs, we did collaborations with Kabaka Pyramid.
Yes.
Also Jamali as well, with a song that you performed at the Victoria Park.
Yes.
That was absolutely off the hook.
Thank you.
But before we go any further into all that there's some more things we want to ask you. We're going to take a break right now.
Sure.
And we're going to come back from the break and find out more about what Princess Black is going on. So folks, we'll be right back after this with more with Princess Black. Let's find out where her journey is going to take her from this point. We'll be right back.